Yeah.
TSD, can you hear me?
Sandy, do you want a glass of water?
Yes, so sorry.
Is that coming, can you tell, is that coming through the speaker here or coming through the computer?
Oh, I don't know.
Can you say something again?
Yes.
Awesome,
You-
thank you.
All right, awesome.
Is audio supposed to be working? Because I don't hear anything.
Stop it.
Got it.
Can you hear us now?
That works.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So now we're just waiting for Ms. Hawk
Mhm.
and it. Shh.
I confirmed with her yesterday she was gonna be here in person.
Yeah. So that always means that sometimes she has a hard time finding parking and. She usually parks on the north side
Mhm.
because it's closest to the door. Jeff, how are trainings going?
Excruciating. I mean, it's all day long from like 8 to 5:30 on Zoom. So.
Oh,
it's
man.
really-
Well,
Really,
we
painful.
can drag this meeting out if we need to get you out of those.
Oh, yeah, unfortunately, it's actually graded and yeah, so I'm ducking out for as little time as I possibly can.
Sure.
Ugh.
All right, so the bells are chiming noon. I'm gonna give Councilmember Hawk another 3 or 4 minutes here.
We can't start a meeting until she's here in person.
That's right, because we have,
We
Jeff
have
doesn't
to
count
have
towards
her-
quorum. In that case, let's give her 2 or 3 minutes and we'll start calling her.
Yeah. Where art thou?
Is this Nexus last season?
Yes, we had senior night last night. Yeah.
That's wild.
Mhm.
And then
And
when
then
it's
tried a little
sectionals.
bit, yeah, sectionals is in 2 weeks. And yeah, then it'll be a whirlwind, 'cause it'll be sectionals, regionals, and then I'll go to state. Week after that, and it'll all be over. Yep,
How's this diving been this year?
it's really good. Yeah, he had like a 60-point PR a couple weeks ago, so that'll be really good once he goes to state.
That'll boost the confidence.
Yeah, and he beat a really good kid last night too, so it was really close on by 10 points, so.
Oh, I see
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Yeah, so it's pretty intense right now, but it's doing a good job.
There she is. Welcome.
I think I'd let you down.
You never do, Marty.
They were doing utility work in my neighborhood and all I wanted to say was, get out of my way.
Oh, my God. Were they putting in those, the internet lines? They dig them?
Something with the utilities, but I don't know.
Oh, we've had people digging holes in our neighborhood for a couple weeks now.
If
we had
they
to do
did
it
in my
sequentially.
neighbor's yard, he will be beside himself.
Yeah.
He loves his pretty grand.
I had a neighbor run out and just start screaming at the workers that they wouldn't dig up her garden. And
That was.
Bless him. But the workers didn't speak English. So she had to go find a supervisor 3 blocks away and vocalize her concerns.
I think whoever chose these chairs need to have a head equipment.
Well, I'm saying that if anybody wants to come in and put fiber in my yard, they're welcome to dig up as much as they want.
That's
As long as they don't hit a septic line,
You
or
and
water.
Julie.
or a water line. Yeah, I'd be perfectly happy to get fiber.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't me complaining. I just wanted to get passed. Okay.
All right, let's go ahead and get started now that we have quorum. Folks, welcome to the Personnel Administration Committee. Today is Tuesday, February the 7th, 2023. It is noon here in Indiana, and we're meeting here in the council conference room. Welcome to those joining us on Zoom. This meeting is called to order. The first item on our agenda is election of.
One moment,
Hold on,
sorry.
yeah.
I want to state for the record that we have Counselor Hawk and Iverson in person, and Counselor McKim is attending virtually.
Thank you for that, Michelle. Michelle, should we launch into our agenda or should we add our items here?
We need to go, first, let's do a election of the chair, and then we can move on with the agenda.
All right. It is the first meeting of the calendar year, so we need to elect the chair. I'm more than happy to serve again.
Move
and I
we
would-
nominate Peter Iverson for chair.
I'll second that.
All right, hearing a motion and a second, could we have a roll call vote, please? I'm learning.
Yes, Counselor McKim,
Yes,
Counselor Hawk,
Yes.
Counselor Iverson.
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right. We do have a couple amendments to our agenda. And I'd like to entertain, you have an agenda? Okay, good. Entertain PAC's views on this. The first is I'd like to add a conversation regarding the age requirement for certain positions. That is correctional officer positions. There's a discrepancy on the age on those job descriptions versus what's in the contract. So we need to discuss that. Do I have a motion to add that to the agenda?
I'm just gonna say that I can only, I really am at extremely minimal time and I can only stay for the jail correctional center.
Right, right, just move that to the end, please.
All right. So we have a motion. Can I have a second, please?
Second. Oh, I.
Second. All right. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adding the age requirements to the agenda, please say, or I'll have to have a roll call.
Yes, Counselor McKim,
Yes,
Counselor Hawk,
Yes,
Counselor Iverson.
Yes.
Thank you.
The second item that I want to put on the end of the agenda, please, is to review the midpoint hire policy. We need to add specific months for the review of that policy.
I move we table that to another meeting.
All I need is a
No,
monthly
we don't
day,
have
so
time. We are,
Yeah.
we're out
it
of
won't
time.
take that long, so.
Table it.
All right, I have a motion to table.
second,
All right,
Whatever.
are we?
sorry, I'm just trying to move this along.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's just, I just needed a month, so it's like.
No,
yeah.
no, let's move
All right.
forward, please.
So we'll table that. Let's move on to item number 3. Here we have on our agenda, a request for a new position and classification review. We have members of our sheriff's department with us today. Gentlemen, tell us what this position's all about.
Well, very, very briefly, it is simply a position that we're requesting to be created that will handle the routine general maintenance of the facility to help keep the facility clean as we progress forward and keep it in a condition where it's clean and sanitary. If I can just put it in a nutshell, it's that simple.
All right, anything to add to that?
I have a question.
Sure.
Could you tell us how many years you've had putting together job descriptions?
Let's see. Since 1995, so however long that is, 25 years.
Okay, I just want to make sure that everyone's aware this man knows how to put together a job description.
I'm not sure anybody had that in doubt. Michelle, do you have anything to add to this item on our agenda?
No, if, depending on what council PAC members do, this would go to the WIS to finalize and create the job description.
Okay.
I do, want to make sure that with, Chief Deputy Parker here, since we were talking about ages with regards to those job descriptions, do you have an age requirement for this one?
I would let this one stand at 21. We are looking for a little more experienced person to come into this.
Okay, I just want to make sure as we get ready
Yes.
to move that forward.
Thank you.
And that is in the job description, that 21 requirement is in there.
Right.
Is it? Okay.
Mr. President, I do have one other question.
Please.
Just so those no ambiguity whatsoever about the number of hours, because it says full-time in one place, another place. As you know, I reviewed every page of this document, and one of them said 8 to 4. So you are anticipating, you're asking for a 40-hour work week, is that correct?
Yes, and that was just simply an error on my, I obviously ignorance on my part about, I should have even made it that an 8 to 5 to include the lunch hour. So yes, it's a 40-hour position is our request.
Yeah.
Yes.
But at such times that you might know that you're going to need a person on a weekend, you'll not be doing that with overtime. You'll be reducing the number of hours on.
Yeah, but this job, I guess we had to put something in there as the normal, but this job really won't have normal hours. It's going to be very, very, very flexible. It will fluctuate with the needs of the jail, possibly on a weekly basis. So this person is going to have to be very, very flexible. It could be weekends, it could be evenings, it could be, all of the above.
And do we have any comments or questions from Human Resources Department?
No.
We can state in the job description when we forward it to WIS that, that it is 40 hours, but it is flexible. And then that way they're not, assigned a certain time schedule, like we do some other job descriptions.
That would be
So we
very
can do
helpful.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. McKim, do you have any questions?
Yes, I mean, I certainly support this position moving forward, and I'll support funding it as well. But I know the commissioner's office, which has also said they support this position, expressed some concern that there may be some ambiguity with respect to duties that are, fall within the responsibility of the commissioners as the owner of the building versus the sheriff who manages the jail. And I'm wondering, is that going to be part of this discussion? Is Commissioner Githens going to represent that viewpoint, or?
Mr. McKim, Commissioner Githens is in person here in the room, so we could have that conversation. We also have Ms. Turner from the legal department here as well.
Oh,
So
okay.
we have all sorts of resources at our disposal to have that conversation. I will note, if you look in the packet, the job description has included the reporting lines that it reports directly to the sheriff and that coordinates with the jail commander and with the facilities manager. So we've added some dotted lines there. Michelle.
And yes, I would like to make a clarification that the facilities manager, per our job descriptions, is actually the head cook. But, so what I think they're wanting to refer to is our,
Building
lead and
manager.
building manager. So that needs to be corrected.
Wait, when you're saying facilities manager, at which department is that, please?
The jail,
It's budgeted under the jail and is totally under the command of the sheriff.
right, but
Right,
the,
as they would be.
Right.
If it's over the.
yeah, but the
kitchen.
facilities manager is over the food as well as the laundry. It has nothing to do with maintenance.
Right,
So I think what they're referring to, if I'm mistaken, is the building
Well,
manager.
yeah, where this came up is I knew that we needed to have a lot of coordination there. So I talked with Dave and said, what's your title? And he said facilities manager. So that's where I plugged that in. So the intent of this was to coordinate with Dave or Richard, whichever Commissioner Githens prefers.
okay,
But it's a coordination. It's
okay,
the supervision that we make.
Dave Gardner is under contract, correct? That's not,
Correct.
so you wouldn't want to use that.
So if I may, I think you could say something along the lines of the fleet and building manager and or the commissioner designee. And if that designee is Dave Gardner under contract, I think that at least identifies who you can coordinate with.
We have no issues with that.
Hearing very little disagreement about that suggestion from our attorney, I would entertain a motion to that effect.
I mean, I don't mind. Why don't we just finish the subject before we make any changes? I certainly support that change, but
Okay. Is there anybody else that wants to comment on this issue of collaboration and title change or reporting line change?
Just think we need to make certain that along the way, we change the title of the person who's over the kitchen and the laundry. And whether we call it the jail matron or whatever, the language in the state law says we have to have a matron, so we may want to retitle it as that, whatever.
That sounds like a good item for a future agenda.
Right.
Do you have anything else to add to this conversation?
I have other concerns regarding the job description, but nothing regarding the reporting of the jail tech directly to the sheriff and in coordination with commissioners. I do think that the commissioners are going to start using a software to record requests, and we would ask that the jail technician or the jail would also use the software to report things to the commissioners. And I think that's a good idea because it will create a time log of when things were reported, and it will help building our fleet and building manager as well as ASI keep track of everything that they're working on. So we would ask that this position utilize that same software.
And I think that should be proceeded with, except within an emergency, because they don't want to be taking time for that when they need to get old opinions like X, Y, Z has to be done now.
Yeah, that was gonna be my only concern is, things move pretty fast there, and I don't want to be in a position where we're logging more than we're working, and that can get cumbersome.
Right.
But, we, in principle, we understand the need to log not only what the issues are, but when they're resolved, because questions do arise. When did this issue present itself, and when was it completed? And I think that data would be helpful for all parties concerned, so we don't have an issue with that.
And-
I mean, if the building's on fire, you don't take time to log it in.
That's exactly
You
right.
Do something about it.
Mr. McKim?
No, I completely agree with that. I didn't think we need to, I don't think anybody's in dispute,
Okay, yes.
so.
My only question, when we initially spoke, it was something that we were gonna create. You guys already have something prepared to use?
I am not sure the status of that. I heard about the software, but I don't know if it's already active and running or if we're purchasing or where it's at.
We generally, in the places we've dealt with this, is we log those types of things. It may be a little more archaic than what you're proposing here, but we have a maintenance log where corrections officers will identify, hey, this is an issue, this will go to this person, and we will do that anyway. And so we'll jump onto your system whenever that's created, if that's acceptable.
There was an issue of logging in the past that we spoke about, and it was getting displaced and whatever. We were trying to create something that's centralized where ASI had access to it. Building, everybody would have access to something that it was just a living, basically testament to what we were going to get that. But if you have something, that would be great,
And
or
I
I can
check
create
on
it.
the status.
Okay.
I think they were looking at like an actual software system.
That would be great,
So-
actually.
And as a reminder, the next step here, pending an approved motion, would be to forward this on to Wagner, Irwin, and Shealy to completely finish the job description. So any of these issues could be worked into the job description as they see fit as well.
I mean, I certainly had questions about who has the authority to, for instance, I don't have the list of equipment that belongs to the jail at this time. I don't know how many floor scrubbers they have, how many wet vacs they have, or whatever. And where it is that they go get their supplies to clean, because you can't just go get any old kind of cleaning supplies with this type of building. So I would like to see a list of that, see if it's like a part of the jail that they can say, okay, use this floor scrubber here and put the wet vac in the kitchen, a different one someplace else. I mean, I'd like to see that plan when you get around to doing that. And I would want to make sure that the jail and the sheriff was in charge of making sure they had the right equipment to do the job that they need to do. And they
Understood.
don't wait on some other department to say, well, I'll get around to letting you use it next week.
Sure. Mr. McKim?
Yeah, so overall, big picture, I think because I think there are some concerns about exactly what is the duty of the sheriff versus the commissioner's office that Molly's already sort of begun to identify. What I would honestly like to see, and I think it would be the easiest, is just to have county legal work with the sheriff's office to make these tweaks rather than us try to wordsmith them here
I
to
agree.
have them and then send it on to WIS, not have to have it go back through PAC, but just to essentially acknowledge that there are some interface issues that need to be and statutory duties issues that need to be cleaned up that can easily be done in a short period of time and then immediately get that off to WIS. So that's the motion I think I intend to make when we're finished airing out.
Sure.
Could you put a time frame on it? Because I don't want this to be delayed too much longer.
As a follow-up on that comment, I've actually line itemed, I went through all of the job descriptions with our concerns and I've reviewed case law. So whenever the sheriff's office wants to come sit down in legal and we can go through these, I'm ready to do that.
It sounds like that can happen very quickly.
Sounds like good collaboration. Okay, so we've talked about the reporting line. We've talked about logging maintenance. Are there any other issues that we need to discuss with this job description before we move on?
Can we put it, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Commissioner Githens.
Required training for the person as a member of the jail staff, what that'll look like.
It was in there.
Okay, I haven't
Yeah.
seen the final,
Yeah, they-
because it's gone back and forth 100
What
times
this little
already.
person will do, required to do by statute, because they're going to be around inmates and supervising inmates, they're gonna have to complete that 40-hour pre-basic course, I'm sorry, the jail officers course through the ILEA. So that is a must, and that is in the job description.
Okay,
Other than that, we're gonna have to just kind of, rely on, whoever applies, what their
with the background.
what their background
Yeah.
and training is.
And so it's written in to the final description too, that they will be supervising inmates,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay, and in here, I don't see painting written in.
I think it's in the job
Is it in the
job
final one?
description.
Okay, because on
Yeah.
the.
Yeah,
They
this-
want to paint. I hope that we'll not hear from anyone that we can't paint. Thank you for some of the horrible graffiti and get that place. Even if we're gonna be there 3 years, it needs to be something that we're not ashamed to see.
We've been talking. Yeah.
yeah, well,
And then also, is there anything in place that? I don't want to say ensure, it's not the wrong word, but. If this person causes a problem that requires even more maintenance to take care of the problem that they. They were too aggressive with unclogging a toilet or something like that. How do we do that crossover between what they're doing and maintenance? When do they call in the regular maintenance folks, I guess?
well,
I know it's a hard call because it's all hypothetical
Well,
at
I
this
mean, you
point.
never know until you do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, I think that's where the collaboration is just, I think we're all gonna have to agree that we can't write something in policy that says when this threshold is crossed, that, it moves from one area to the other. I think we're gonna have to trust each other to some extent that, we do the best we can on our side, and when it gets too big, we'll call and we'll collaborate with Dave and Richard, and we'll come to a consensus, and if we need to, we'll involve the commissioners, and I really don't know how to answer that other than
Yeah.
that.
I just want something noted, even if it's just here, that if this starts to become a problem, that we have to figure out other ways to address this. If they start to break things.
Suppose it'd be the same thing as if Dave Gardner was trying to do something with the plumbing and it didn't go well. Is it his business? What is it, his company's
Yes, I-
name? Do they cover it, or does that come back to the commissioners? And that's part of what can we discuss later.
So my proposal would be, since I've gone through the job description myself and I've talked to Lee Baker in our office, and I think I'm at the point that I am more than happy to schedule a meeting with Commander Gibbons and Chief Deputy Parker. Maybe it would be beneficial if Commissioner Gibbons sits in that meeting so that the commissioners' concerns, we can make sure we're addressing everyone's concerns and we're all on the same page before this goes to us. Is that doable?
Sure. I think so, yeah.
Michelle, as PAC administrator, do you feel good about that?
Do we have a time frame, please? I mean, I'd like
Like I said, I'm ready to talk about it whenever you
to
guys
have
can
it
make time.
done no less than, 7 days? Send it off to Wes in no less than 7 days. So, I mean, I've seen
How
things.
about, so we have a council meeting on the 14th, and we can provide an update if you would like at the council meeting to say this has gone to WIS. Because I think we can easily, I'm out of the office tomorrow out of training. So I'm Thursday and Friday or Monday, I can meet.
So 7 days would be reasonable then.
7 days would be
Oh,
reasonable.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so I
Let's
move
do-
that.
yep.
oh,
Go for it.
I was just going to say that I move that after review and approval of the edited job description by both the sheriff's office and county legal, that this automatically gets sent to WIS for classification within 7 days.
Second,
Hearing a motion and a second, Michelle, can we have a roll call vote?
Counselor Iverson,
Yes.
Counselor McKim,
Yes.
Counselor Hawk,
yes.
motion passed unanimous.
Thank you. And Mr. McKim, thank you for your time.
I'm so sorry that I have to leave, but I'm glad to see this position being created. This is great. really appreciate hearing from the sheriff's office on this, and I look forward to supporting it in council.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you, Mr. McKim.
Councilmember McKim.
All right, the next item on our agenda is to review the age discrepancy on the job description and the contracts. Ms. Shim, Miss Shim, Miss Kim, can you tell us what this is all about?
Chief Deputy Parker was reviewing the job descriptions, and at that time, he noticed that they, the age requirement was different within the job descriptions than it was, in the contract. In the contract, it states that they can be 18, but our job descriptions for, the corporal, correctional officer, the liaison correctional officer, sergeant, and the training officials still have the age of 18. I'm just requesting that is something that does not need to go to WIS, but I'm requesting PAC's permission to be able to make those edits and update them, and then get council approval to make that change formally
Okay,
at the next meeting.
before we go to that motion, Chief Deputy Parker, do you have anything to add to what Ms. Shell said?
No, it's just, I think it's very critical for us to be able to have that age at 18, because that's where we get a large majority of our new officers that are trying to bridge the gap between starting in law enforcement before they're eligible to be 21 to be a police officer. So it's a very, very big recruiting area for us.
Ms. Ock?
I heard when Michelle was reading off corporal, et cetera. And so I think we should maybe say 18 at the discretion of the sheriff and the jail for some of those other positions. Is that something you'd rather see? Like if it's a corporal, someone who's, would they have to be more than the 18? Or that's something you can think about?
For us, the officer, the corporal, and the sergeant, we are perfectly fine with the age of 18. Now, when we get up to the captain or jail commander, obviously, we need a little more maturity in those positions, so we're.
But you wouldn't, you're in charge of deciding who's gonna be the captain anyway,
Yeah,
right?
that's correct,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
Yes.
We just wanted to stipulate anybody capable of making policy or changing policy be 21. Yeah, some of the other stuff.
It seems straightforward to me. Legal, HR, any comments, questions? All right,
As a reminder, we did something different for the highway department for the CDL drivers as well, so.
that's right, that's right. All right, Ms. Hawk, would you like to make the motion, or should I make the motion?
Oh, I move that the age requirement on the documents be changed to 18.
Second, hearing motion is second. Well, we're both here. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. All right, let's move on to the summary minutes as presented. Ms. Hawk, do you have any changes to those summary minutes from August 2nd?
I did not review them, to be honest.
Okay, hearing no changes at all, they are adopted as presented. Well, next we'll move on to PAC member comments. Do you have any comments for us today?
I certainly do. I have asked for this in the past, and I'm going to continue to ask for it until somebody will listen to me, or until I'm dead, which could happen quicker. I just implore you to get me these documents earlier. I mean, if the council office has them 8 days before we get the packet, if we could get it, it doesn't have to be formalized or anything. It would give us opportunity to meet with the department heads or have a discussion and come up with some, I don't want to walk in here and just vote on something and not do the homework. And when I'm not given something until Friday afternoon and I'm in the middle of something else, I'm contacting people on the weekend and trying to get this done on the weekend and Monday. Now, I don't have a big hefty social schedule, but other people might. So why are we not getting it when I've asked for it over and over again? It doesn't have to be formal. It doesn't have to look perfect. Just send us what they send us. Or maybe we should say to all the department heads, if you're going to send it to the council office, send it to all of us, everyone.
Yeah, I certainly do appreciate receiving documents ahead of time so I can review them. I don't like voting on things that I haven't read. That makes me very nervous. I think this is a very unique case where the item that we were reviewing was being changed pretty rapidly even over the weekend. So I think, you know,
They turned it in on what, sometime in January.
that's true. That's true.
I mean, that's
But
the
as you-
deadline.
As you look in the packet, you can see that changes have been made. And I think that's okay, right?
Right.
We need to be flexible and we can be flexible. So duly noted. Thank you for your comment. I just wanted to remind everyone, the jobs numbers came out last Friday and they're remarkable. Even our local unemployment rate now has fallen to 2%. So that's just really great news. And we're excited that we can bring in a lot of talented people into Monroe County government and employ all those folks. So I think with all that being said, if there's nothing else, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You wanna go ahead and schedule a time?
Sure. Can we schedule a time right now?